Hey YouTube, Danny Don't Go In 237 here, and I wanted to talk about something really cool. There was a double feature at the Film Forum of Paul Morrissey's Trash and Women in Revolt, two movies he made that were produced by Andy Warhol, starring Joe D'Alessandro, Candy Darling, Holly Woodlawn, and I was surprised to see in Women in Revolt, actually, Martin Kove from Last House on the Left and The Karate Kid. He actually was in Women in Revolt and completely naked, for those of you who are interested in seeing him in the Altogether. But what was really cool is Paul Morrissey did a Q&A in between the two movies. So I just got to meet him last year at the Chiller Theater Convention in Jersey, and he was nice enough to autograph my Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula Criterion DVDs. So it was very exciting to get to see him again. I didn't get to meet him this time, but it was really cool listening to him talk about the making of the movies. He unfortunately has kind of turned into a grouchy little old man, but he's still very funny and he's still fascinating to listen to. But I thought I would take the opportunity to show you something cool. This is kind of a rare, not super hard to find DVD, but it's a PAL Region Zero DVD of the Chelsea Girls. I was lucky enough to see this when I was in Pittsburgh, when I was in film school in Pittsburgh. I was lucky enough to get to see this on the big screen at a coffee house theater called the Beehive in Oakland, which unfortunately is no longer there. I believe it's a bar now. They had a beautiful, huge, gigantic, beautiful screen. And just to see this on the big screen projected was it was absolutely amazing. This is a great, great movie. It's a great experimental movie. It's literally like it's like a time capsule into the that period of time in New York when Warhol was making movies, and Warhol and Paul Morrissey. This is probably their most what do you want to say, balanced collaboration. This is a movie that they directed together. I mean, they each directed different different vignettes. They directed, I think, about 30 total of them. There was about six hours or so worth of material, which they then picked. I don't remember how many there are in here, but I can find out. But what they did was they wound up picking out the ones that they thought that were most interesting, which ended up being about half, and half of what they shot. And then what they did is, for those of you who have not seen this movie, they projected them side by side in and alternated them. So basically, you get on the right side of the screen. It starts with Nico, I believe, cutting her hair, and the left side of the screen is just, there's nothing there. And then after a few minutes, on the left side of the screen, suddenly there's Pope Ondine giving interviewing someone, and I can't remember everybody's name. Other than Nico, Ondine, Bridget Berlin, International Velvet, Eric Emerson. Eric Emerson's sequence is a sequence, he is like high as a kite and he's just babbling toward the camera. It's pretty out there, but this really is a gorgeous set. It's a beautiful set. This is from Raro Video. This was released only in Italy. And there's Eric Emerson right there. There's this sequence here is called Nico Crying. This is the end with Ondine, which is a very disturbing scene because he's giving a what's it called? He's talking to a woman who's, quote unquote, confessing to him. At one point, he physically slaps her. He actually slaps her, and comes close to almost attacking her before she finally rushes off the camera, and it's pretty alarming. I mean, there's some really raw stuff in there. There's some really banal, boring scenes of people just pontificating and stuff. There's some very Warhol sequences. There's some very Morrissey sequences. So there he is, Andy Warhol with his, I believe that's a Frezzolini. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But, so here is, I can focus on this. There we go. So it goes 1, Nico in kitchen. 2, Pope Ondine and Ingrid. 3, Bridget holds court. 4, boys in bed. 5, Hanoi Hannah, who is played by Mary Woronov, who went on to star in Rock and Roll High School and Death Race 2000 and Eating Raoul, and then 6, Hanoi Hannah and guests. 7, Mario sings 2 songs. 8, Mary Menken. Her name is, I believe it's actually Marie Menken. I think that's a typo. 9, Eric Says All. That's the acid trip. 10, Color Lights on the Cast. 11, Pope Ondine, and 12, Nico crying. If I'm correct, though, I think that it ends with Pope. I think that Pope Ondine and Nico crying, I think, play together to round out the movie, because I remember the movie ends with him talking. But it's really it's a fascinating movie. Let me just look at how gorgeous these DVDs look. I mean, the whole movie, the whole 3-hour and 15-minute long movie is on disc 1, and then disc 2 is sideways. Disc 2 is extras, which I actually haven't watched yet. But yeah, I love this movie. This is probably one of my favorite movies, to tell you the truth. I'm a big fan of Warhol's films. A lot of people think that his movies are, boring and pointless and stupid, but I don't. This is neat. There's a little reproduction of one of his film booth film strips. There's Andy. I've been a big fan of Andy Warhol since I was a little kid. The first part of this is all in Italian, which I do not speak. Wish I did. But when I was a little kid, I forget, I don't exactly remember, but there was a commercial, there was something on TV about Andy Warhol, and I remember asking my mom, "Who's Andy Warhol?" And she said, "Oh, he's an artist who painted Campbell soup cans." And I thought she meant that he designed the logo, like that he designed the Campbell soup can. So I said, he made the logo up. And this is like when I was like 7 years old, 7, 8. And she said, no, he just painted Campbell soup cans. He made a big painting of a Campbell soup can, and he made a whole bunch of them. And I to this day, I couldn't quite tell you why, but I found that to be incredibly cool. I just thought, that's so cool. I was like, wow. It's like, even at the time, as a kid, I was like, I didn't know why anybody would do that. I was like, I was just like, man, that's incredible. That's just so neat. And then I found out, oh gosh, Campbell soup cans and Brillo boxes and